Jackie Kashian, Laurie Kilmartin.
Everyone knows it's windy. Hi, Laurie.
Hell yeah.
Hello. Virginia, please apply that filter because I just woke up.
Well, we were going to do it last night, but my power went out.
Yeah.
And then I waited for it to come back on. And it did, I guess, in the middle of the night because all the lights came on. As is the way the power comes back on in America. If you don't live in America, you just go, okay, I guess I'm just going to bed. And then around 2:30 or 3 in the morning, everything comes back on, including the TV and all the things. So, I'm not on fire. Are you on fire?
No.
If you were to watch the national news, you would think that we lived in the center of the seventh ring of hell.
We do.
We don't.
We're surrounded. I mean, Jackie, there's major fires on both sides of us.
Brandy Posey, I grabbed that app that Brandy
me too.
Posey suggested and found out that there is a fire a mile and a half from
I know.
It's in the Sepulveda Basin. It's in the wildlife reserve. The Sepulveda. Yeah.
And we're
you're a lot. Yeah.
Some of them can be put out. And we just hope they're not. I mean, there's zero containment on Palisades and Eden. There's nothing they can do. The wind is so severe and so fast right now.
Right. And the wind is supposed to calm down at some point today.
Later today.
I'm supposed to fly away today.
Flying out of what airport?
Burbank. I just talked to Delta. They said that my plane is on its way from Salt Lake.
Okay.
And so they think it's, I mean, I didn't want to call them because obviously they're probably getting a lot of calls. But I'm Diamond. And so
Jackie, yes, you must be respected.
I guess so, because I got someone. There'll be 0 minutes. That's what happened on the end of that. Hey, by the way, I'm supposedly gonna be in Denver this week. So
that's right. Okay,
we forgot to tell people. So Denver this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I believe that to be 9, 10, 11 of January, and then next week I have jury duty, and I'm doing an episode of After Midnight.
cool.
And a couple of LA sets. The week after that, I assume Maria will be more interested in selling merch, just in case her house is threatened. Her house is threatened.
Yeah,
as is Gina Yashere. Yeah.
Gina's burned down, she said. And
it's on fire, she said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Gina Yashere. So very sad. But the week after next, I'm on the road with Maria going to South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And then the beginning of February 1st, I'm in Sacramento with Maria. And then I'm doing Seattle Laughs in February. And then I'm doing Cincinnati the week of Valentine's Day. So love, Cincinnati, Jackie Kashian. Who doesn't think of it? Who doesn't think of them all together? JackieKashian.com. How about you, Laura?
To 24th and 25th, I'm at Bananas in Hasbrook Heights or Rutherford, New Jersey. And the 5th through the 8th of February, I'm at Acme in Minneapolis.
Awesome.
I think I'm going to spend some advertising money like Laura suggested.
Right.
A week ahead of it and see how that works. Because it's a Wednesday through, I'm getting Wednesday, Thursday money. So part of me is like, maybe I should just spend one of those nights' monies on advertising and see if that blows it up. Because you get a bonus if you sell stuff out.
Right.
And February
ahead,
14th, I'm at the Morongo Center doing a Valentine's Day show. It's south of Los Gatos. Please come out to that. That should be really fun. That's in Northern California, but inching close to Central, but still considered Northern. And then I am doing a little writing gig till early March. So mostly I'll be in the city aside from those dates. And then April Moon Tower, and the industry has turned its back on me. I've like almost no road. I did not think I'd have less road work a year after my special came out. when the fuck does anything turn around? I'm so grateful to have this writing gig, but
Yeah. There
the
you go.
road work would have been the same had I not. It's not like I had to cancel stuff. Okay.
So let me just say that the text message I received from you that said, I'm in a writer's room and I feel whole again.
I do. It was really fun. I mean, half the writers are evacuating, so
Yeah. Anyway.
it's awful.
Well, yeah, that's there is we are very happy that I was mad 3 days ago, no longer. That because the trees need to be trimmed, right? Every year. So we do it every 2 years.
Right.
And so the team that we paid to come did a real hack job and they cut everything down to like leaves.
They do that, man.
And I was so mad. And now I'm not, because the wind, it would have broken branches. It would have done all kinds of things. And there's plenty of debris without it. So
yeah. I my trees were growing crazy, and I kept trying to saw the limbs off myself, but I could not keep up.
Right.
And then they have to fit in the bin. So then you're sawing. Once you get a limb down, it's a lot of sawing because I'm afraid of a chainsaw. So I'm like, I'll just do this manual piece of shit saw, which is gonna, take for fucking ever.
Right.
But at least I won't, accidentally cut my arm off because there's no way to do that.
Right. Exactly. You'd have to really want it.
Yeah. That would be an aggressive act of self-harm if I did it, right? But a chainsaw, you drop it, or who knows? Even the thought of chainsaws are terrifying to me.
All right, fair enough.
So I finally, like about 3 weeks ago, there were branches like touching the electric box on the telephone pole, and I'm like, and the branches are coming from a tree on my yard, so it's like totally my thing. So I had someone come, and again, they did the same thing your guys did, which is it's just little stumps now. But you know what?
I've seen it before come back.
Oh, they come back.
They always come back, but it is weird because you're like, did you just kill the trees in my neighborhood?
I know.
No, it turns out they didn't.
How do they come back? Trees are kind of astonishing.
Trees are amazing.
Yeah, they'll.
Welcome to our new podcast, talking about trees.
Trees are awesome.
I have to say, so Andy, we haven't had a chance to take the Christmas stuff down because January 6th, we like to keep it up until Armenian Christmas. It's nice.
Sure.
And, but so yesterday, right around 5:00, Andy was like, I think we have a bunch of those inflatable things in the yard because they're, I don't know if you know this about inflatable things in the yard. They're funny, especially when it's 75 degrees. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Just like a Cheeto dust president and our orange president. It's all so funny.
You don't wait. Are you saying what just happened? Don't compare my inflatable snowman to Donald Trump, Captain Knobjob. My inflatable snowmen are full of humor. Donald Trump, it turns out. I actually opened my set in DC the other day. I was like, do we remember Mussolini? Do we remember how it all ended? You guys are going to be on the ground here. So anyway, we brought him down because we were about to be taken away like the balloons and Up. So the whole house was about to be taken away.
Yeah, they're highly flammable, those things, actually. So.
Oh my God.
What?
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
You don't believe? No.
The snowmen, the inflatable snowmen
are highly flammable.
I don't believe
inflated. That. Yeah. No, they are.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Yeah. The thing is it feels like I'm gonna need. They wouldn't sell them if they were flammable. If they were constantly bursting into flames, they just wouldn't.
I didn't say bursting into flames. I'm saying if an ember lands on them, they're gonna. No, that's what I mean. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying if an ember lands on them, they're a lot more vulnerable to be.
It's the way you put it. Because why would an ember? I mean, I get it. We're living in the middle of embers right now.
Yeah,
but
that's why.
But hello and welcome to Ember Talk. That's why I laughed, is because you said embers. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna let it go because the look on your face is like fucking let it go, and so I'm totally gonna do that.
Okay.
Next up, so yesterday morning I had to take the dogs to be cleaned inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take the dogs and the cat to be cleaned inside and out. And then driving home is when the wind started. Or that's not true, but it was in the midst of, at like 3 p.m. I was driving back. And Tyson, I couldn't tell if he was just excited to be home or if he was going to just pee and poop all over the back of the car. So we stopped twice on the way where I had to pull over and let him out.
Oh,
And then he
God.
just peed a little bit. And I think he was just excited to get home, man. I
Okay.
could not have been more furious.
How
I
old's
was like,
Tyson?
they're, I believe, 21 plus 9 plus 3. They're 12.
Okay.
The dogs are
That's when-
12.
Isn't that the age when their asses start to?
Yeah, he's got all kinds of incontinence issues.
Right.
They are. We're running, since Chris passed, we're now running a hospice for animals.
Oh my God.
And next up, our own hospice.
Oh,
The
God.
hospices for ourselves. The
Oh,
aging
God.
process is inexorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Nikki Glazer, you want to talk about that?
She fucking crushed. She killed.
Boom.
Yeah. Really great. Really great. I didn't see, like, I saw the monologue and then I saw the Pope, the conclave song. And
That
then
was
I guess
great.
there was some other stuff like interstitials or whatever in the broadcast I haven't seen yet. I just kind of want to check out, but I haven't found the whole broadcast online yet. I'm sure it'll pop up soon. But
Right.
yeah,
I think Hulu maybe.
that was so
She
strong.
really nailed it. And I saw the picture. Ian Carmel was obviously, he was on the writing staff.
Mhm.
And he posted a picture of everybody. It was like 19 people.
Yeah.
And you could tell.
Mhm.
And she practiced it almost 100 times,
Yeah,
according
that's
to
crazy.
the scuttlebutt, right?
Yeah, the New York Times followed her, and she had done about over 90 sets at that time, and I'm sure she did 10 more the night before.
Right.
Yeah,
Just yeah.
prepping
so
like
she
it was a late night set, and
she was so comfortable.
mhm,
Like there was no fumbling. There was no
right.
nervousness. Her outfits were amazing.
Oh God, 5 outfits. Yeah.
By the way, if you go to our Patreon, you can, and you're a $5 a month, you can listen to us talk to her for half an hour.
Oh, that's
Remember
right.
that?
She was one of our
The bonus
guests
eps.
a couple months ago. Yeah. In fact, right after they announced she got the Golden Globe, so she was busy.
Yeah.
She still gave us a half hour of her time.
Of her time at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was I was psyched for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't need it, but she can't. I mean, it's not gonna.
No,
be
it's just
anything
nice
bad.
to see shit well done.
Yeah. Right? No kidding.
I always appreciate when comedy is well done and somebody worked their ass off and they, it that wasn't easy what she did. It was
No.
really hard. And
Yeah.
that's the way actual good comedy is. It's not easy. It's really hard. It's a ton of fucking work.
And it looks effortless.
Yeah.
When
because
well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is you've been doing it 20, 30 years. And so you can, you have that stage comfort, and
Right.
it does look effortless.
Andy was so funny because he's like, I said, I just remember when she was a baby. And because I was the one, everyone should know this. I was the one, I met her when she was probably 20 or 21. We were roommates at Last Comic Standing.
Mhm.
And she told me she lived in Kansas City and she's just telling me that she wanted to quit college and move to LA and do stand up. And I was like, well, you should finish college. So look back on that, and all advice coming from Kashian, you might want to take it greatest.
Well, what'd she get her degree in? Does anyone know? Or did she quit?
Did not. She quit. She quit.
Nikki.
She came to Nikki.
Nikki.
Turns out it
please
all
go
worked
back
out.
To college. No. Just finish your degree.
Turns out
I didn't
I
realize
might
I
have
was
been
praising
incorrect.
someone without a degree. I take it all back. Really.
I might have been incorrect, is what I'm saying. And but I was telling Andy about, I was like, she was obviously she was like 19 or 20 years old, and Last Comic Standing. And I said, and what was that, 10 or 15 years ago? And Andy looks at me, he's like, at least 20, Jack.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I was like, oh God. And
yeah, my last comic was 2010, 15 years ago.
Oh wow.
Bananas.
I don't know. Eliza Schlesinger was my last roommate on Last Comic Standing. By the way, she was on Finding Your Roots, the duo with Bob Odenkirk.
Right.
And the power went out in the middle before I was going to find out what she is besides being Jewish, because they were mostly just talking about her being Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Bob Odenkirk, by the way, hilariously.
Is he? He's
just
all the way till Scandinavia, right?
No, he's. Turns out he was like, we're Irish. We've always been Irish. We've always been Irish. And then it turns out 3 generations ago they were French. 4 generations ago. So,
Odenkirk.
it was the guy's name was like Fritter or something, and when he was 18, his great grandfather or whatever fought for France in the Napoleonic Wars. He was conscripted when he was 18, got his finger shot off almost immediately, and was pensioned off, and then died when he was 53 of drowning.
Oh gosh!
And then his only child immigrated to the United States 10 or 20 years after he died. That guy died.
Wow. I wonder, had he not drowned, would the Odekirks had even made that move?
Right.
Who knows?
Right. Who knows? But I guess I have
Pierre.
to go back.
I guess it would be. I was trying to think of an ALS name in French, but I was like, I'll just do Pierre. Sorry, what were you saying, Jackie?
You got to absolutely nothing. God knows. But I will say, so my weekend in DC was wonderful, quite honestly. The feature and the MC were great. It was Dwayne White, who he did a lot of jokes about how his name is Dwayne White. Not a lot. He did the obligatory, hi, my name is Dwayne White, and I'm clearly a white man. And he is a white man named Dwayne White. And he was an army guy. And he was like, we've met. And I was like, God dang it.
No.
Of course we have.
Never tell someone that. Never.
Well,
never.
I did a benefit. He and another comic in DC do a stand-up comedy veterans thing for comics with PTSD. Essentially comics with PTSD who want to do stand-up comedy. First of all, Dwayne and Dave are the 2 guys that I met who are both comics now, and they've been doing comedy for 10 years or so. And they both came through this program. And I guess they asked me over Zoom, I think lockdown, is if I would just come on and talk to them about stand-up. And so I did something where I did that. So that's where I met him. And then he was featuring, and then a woman named Dale Dunlop. Yes, she was emceeing. And they were both very funny, and they were both really super fun to hang out with. And then the guy Dave, who was also with the vet thing, he is a docent, or he works at the American History Museum. So he was like, I've hooked us up where there's going to be a docent. She's going to show us around the American History Museum.
Oh my God.
So, and the woman, so we met Paula, and Paula said, how much do you want to see? And I said, all museums, regardless of how many Botticellis, get an hour and a half of my time. I am so sorry. I am a monster. And it's the American, and I saw the most amazing, I posted it. Did you see the thing I posted, the statue of Washington? There's a statue of George Washington.
But he looks different.
It was carved in 1837 by a prominent sculptor who ruined his career by making this choice because everyone hated it. For hundreds of years, they've hated it since 1837 until today, when people are like, it's kind of awesome.
Is he literally made into a mythical creature, or
he is? He's supposed to be Zeus on the throne of Olympus, and except for that, the painting of Zeus on the throne, he's holding a sword, pointy part first, and George Washington is holding a pommel first, so because he is of service.
Okay. I don't know what a pommel is.
That's the hilt. That's
the top.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the where you hold it.
Okay.
And but get this. Uh he's not wearing a shirt. He's just wearing a toga. He looks like a never nude, is what he looks like. And he looks like a surfer. He's wearing open toe sandals. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's amazing now. But in 1837, he was in a rotunda and they were like, get it out. And then they put it outside, and it isn't an outside statue. And people were just hilariously, can you imagine the selfies that would take in 1850, where they're just like, I'm going to take a half an hour to set up this shot. And then I'm going to sit on his lap. And then over the head.
Sure.
Everybody pause for a long time. Anyway, but it's hilarious now.
Yeah, I often feel like some of my material will be appreciated 200 years from now. And yes, the industry may spurn me. Yes, bookers don't return my calls, but they'll be calling for me in 200 years.
Yes, my agent. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was at the Comedy for it. So fun.
Sold out.
All 4 shows sold out. Now, it's weird. Like, I don't know why. Is it their marketing? Is it
right?
But I did pay for extra stuff like targeted reels to that area, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the trick was. That's a weird thing. So they changed their show times. So it's 6 o'clock and 8:30.
Awesome.
And Dave, the owner, who's also a comedian, Dave Rodriguez, said that they thought they weren't sure people would come to the 6 o'clock but he said it's like a myth that everyone, is working 9 to 5 and then that they need, people work from home, people aren't working, people, whatever. Everyone's schedules are so strange now and so unique and individual that anyway, no one had problems coming to the 6 p.m. show. So the shows were really fun. I did, on stage at the 6 p.m. realize, I was supposed to drink water because I'm at elevation. I'm in the Rocky Mountains, and I didn't do that. So I felt a little wobbly, and so whenever what I tell myself is just do an impression of yourself. Like pretend you're doing an impression of Laurie.
Oh my God,
and that's
amazing.
Always carries me through.
That's
but
amazing.
Inside, I was like, I'm gonna faint.
Oh God. Yeah. You got to drink water.
They added, I guess they took out some of the backstage area and they added seats and they added another door to the green room. Next time you're there, you'll see it's much more convenient to get in and out if you have to go to the bathroom. You don't have to go through this winding, wobbly
I love that
area. So yeah, and
they put you up at the nice hotel, right?
Put me up at the nice hotel.
Walkable.
Yes, and there's a painting. There's a lot of paintings in this hotel in the lobby, like real ones. I'm sure you've done a hotel art on it.
Yeah.
And I thought one of them was Jeanine Garofalo, and the front desk guy goes, "No, that's Amy Van Dyken." I was like, "Oh my God, I had no idea." Amy Van Dyken, I think she's from Fort Collins, but she was an Olympian. She
thank God you were. I didn't want to ask.
You knew. I had to take my glasses off, but I could see your confusion through the smoke and the blur.
Just the polite nodding. Good for you.
So Amy Van Dyken, she was injured in an ATV accident, so she's paralyzed now. She's in a wheelchair, and her Instagram is incredible because she's very honest about all the shit she has to go through now. But she won gold medals, I think in 96. She was a swimmer. And she, I don't know, this is slightly apocryphal, but she claims she didn't spit into her opponent's lanes, but that's how it was played in the press. And back then I was like, that's fucking badass.
She spit into her opponent's lanes, possibly?
Yeah.
This is what I think of I'm so competitive.
Yeah. She was like fiercely competitive. That was one of her known qualities as a swimmer. So anyways, just like,
can I tell you that when I was 9 years old, we got a new Sunday school teacher, and my sister and I were at Sunday school, and my sister was 11, and the woman was telling about how you have to be nice because otherwise God will punish you. And Daryl and I looked at each other. And then there was an example that she gave that made Darla and I laugh out loud, which was a brother was mean to his sister of a morning, and then he got hit by the bus on his way to school. And Darla and I laughed and laughed. And all I could think was, that's why that lady got paralyzed. That would be the parallel in my when I was 9 years old in Sunday school. They would have said because she spit in other people's lanes, she got in an ATV accident. But that's not true. And when Darla and I laughed, and the Sunday school teachers, she kicked us out of Sunday school. And
I
and
would
then
like
we
to
were
kick you out of this podcast now.
well, for relating how bad that Sunday school teacher was. But I will say this about my father. We were driving home and he
Mhm.
was like, "What happened?" And we told him and he said, "Oh, I have to talk to them. She can't teach Sunday school. That's not a thing." And
And that little sister for ratting out her brother was mean to her. You know, like look at that little sister. She could have kept her mouth shut and just been, what a tragedy. My brother got run over. But instead, she's at the funeral going, yeah, and it's his own fault because he did this. Who even knows if he
Right,
actually did that?
and not a real story. Like literally a parable that some mean old lady made up. And when I say old, she was probably in her 30s.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for that detour, Jackie. Just go to say that Amy Van Dyken is a great follow on Instagram, and
Yes.
you know, she's a total badass. I don't even know that. I think she says she never did that. So but that's
Okay.
how it was reported in Swimming World magazine back in the day. And I just
Right.
remember being, wow, I've never wanted to win that much, and that's
Right.
why I'm not at the Olympics.
Oh my God, I'm tempted to get you a subscription to every swimming magazine in the world. Because there's obviously a swimming magazine out there.
There's lots of them.
Anyway.
There's Swimming World. There's Master Swimming has a magazine. Yeah, there's lots of swimming magazines, Jackie. They were my
Okay.
childhood. I had pictures of Julia Bogdanova, the great Soviet breaststroker, all over my room.
You said breast.
Svetlana, what's her? I can't remember her last name. And then Tracy Calkins, of course.
Of course.
The great Tracy, Racy Tracy, they called her. She immigrated to, they did. She
Okay.
immigrated to Australia. She married an Australian Olympian. Tracy Calkins, listen, rest in peace, Jimmy Carter, but you should not have boycotted the 1980 games.
Huh.
He ruined careers of many athletes.
Yeah, sorry. Wake me up when we move on from.
I love this.
No, it's not going to get any better because I'm just going to take a lateral move and said I also went to the Shakespeare Library in DC and I got to see the Lord of the Rings galleys. So we all have different things we love. I also got to see like the first Winnie the Pooh and the first Great Gatsby, which I was like, keep moving. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, whatever. So. But it was really cool. I posted a bunch of there was like a very beautiful copy of the Quran, which I took a picture of from the side because I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to take a picture, even if it's an illuminated manuscript of the Quran. I don't think that the
really?
devout Muslims enjoy that.
The flashes damage that stuff over time.
Oh well, no flash. No flash was used in yeah. And though I will say, there was something I was at, and they I know, it was at the American Museum. They had the flag that flew over Fort Sumter when Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem, and it used to just hang in the foyer of the American History Museum, and then they realized, oh, it's deteriorating before our eyes. So now it's in a controlled whatever, and you can't take a picture because everyone forgets to turn their flashes off, and it's missing different parts, and that's not because of wear and tear. It's because one of the generals who was touring with it, every time he would run into a vet from the War of 1812, he would cut off a piece of it and give it to him.
Oh my God!
And so they've recovered several pieces. They're still missing some pieces. I'm sure that there's some Whitey Magoo family who's just. And we have this, and we're not going to tell the Smithsonian.
Or they don't even know. Like they get a bunch of great grandpa shit, and it's just like a piece of a flag throw away, right? Like it looks like a old disintegrated flag. They wouldn't know it was historic.
Right. They don't know what. Yeah. So I will say, I'm working on the new hour, and I have an hour that is publishable, that is recordable, that is tight, that is good. I did it in front of some fans and a lot of strangers because the shows were good. One of them was not sold out, and we had to go downstairs and join that show.
What do you mean?
There's two rooms at the DC Loft,
Okay.
and the downstairs one was being headlined by a guy named Caleb Sinem.
Okay, I've seen his name all over
He's,
social media, but I don't
very
think I know
funny.
him. Okay.
I enjoyed him a great deal, and I was just gonna. They were like, "Would you do 20 downstairs? We're not going to prorate you or anything." And I said, "I'll do whatever you want, because you're not prorating me. You're paying me. I'll do whatever time you want." And so we go down, and Dwayne got to do a set. Dale didn't get to do a set because Caleb had his own feature.
Yeah.
But Caleb gave me 30.
Oh.
So I did 30 down there as well.
Nice.
And yeah, it was nice. And but I worked on the hour, and there's this 15 minutes that I want to do that's going to be related to what that album's called. And if I'm going to do a trilogy, it's got to be worked in. And I don't know. I have the hour, but I want another 15. But I also, do I want to put out an album that's an hour and a half? I don't.
Mm-mm. No, because
It's annoying.
you need to jumpstart the next album.
The next album. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Because
So
I don't know how much time from when you tape to when it's released. Like
in my opinion, it shouldn't be any more than 4 to 6 weeks.
it should be a day. But
It
yeah,
should be almost immediately, but
Yeah.
it has to be
it
mastered.
should be a,
and
a live stream practically.
Right. But before I record, I usually have the art done.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually, and then I listen immediately to all the sets, and I pick the what I want, and then editors should get on it.
Mhm.
And this is, Stand Up Records did a really good job with my first 3 albums,
Mhm.
and Staycation did good too. That was 800. That took a little bit longer, but just because they had more people, and but I was like, I'm done. How are you?
Mhm.
And so it got worked. So I also at one point, because I was working, I don't know what's going on with my health, but I was, I have this weird scratchy throat, and it's, Andy suggests I see a medical professional. He's not wrong.
Mhm.
I don't have time.
Did your
But,
throat hurt?
No. But my sinuses in my throat, I call it, and this is gross, but I just call it sort of travel crud, because I'm
Yeah.
on a plane at least twice a week.
Yeah,
And
that's not.
yeah,
I mean, it's not
the
good.
air,
It's not good for you
yeah,
anyway, for sure. You just don't want to get like nodules and stuff, and if
right, which is what Jen
something's
Kirkman had to get surgery.
yes, and Dana Gould too. If something's being irritated.
Okay. Okay. So, noted. So I had to sit down at one point because I was tired.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I looked at the audience and I said, "Oh, I see why Marin does this."
Sure, it's relaxing.
Hey, you want to take a break? First break?
Okay. Hold on. Let me
And
just look at. I'm getting texts. I just want to make sure everything's okay.
Comic of the week. And when
Hold
we
on
come
just
back.
a sec. Hey, concerned cousin, concerned sister. Concerned. My best friend had to evacuate. She had to leave. She's near the Eaton fire. Fuck. Okay. So yeah, let's do comic of the week. Let's see. Hold on. I took my glasses off because they were reflecting the screen, and I thought it would be distracting. Our comic of the week is Tatyana Guchi. Tatyana. Tatyana. Gucci. Jackie's like, oh, she sounds like she doesn't need our help, but it's Guchi, not CCI. So
Right. I thought she was a Gucci, and I was
Yeah.
like, she might not need the bump.
yeah,
But that's not how it's spelled.
when
Did
you-
she
that-
come across your IG feed? Is that
Yes,
how
she
you
came
got to
across
see
my
her?
Instagram, and when you take out the C and replace it with an H, you need to be comic of the week at some point. Okay,
Exactly.
So Tatyana Gucci, very funny. I believe. You know what? I don't know her, and I haven't seen her in person. So
But the clips were funny. Yeah.
Oh.
Laurie has just been taken away by some greater power. Make a note at 35. I'm just going to let it run.
Yeah.
And Tommy Ryman has texted me. I've gotten a lot of input from people.
Checking in.
My brother's like, I'm going to reschedule. He's supposed to come on Sunday.
I'm back. Okay.
Yay.
You're back.
So I was closing tabs to
Yeah.
study where Tatyana came from, and I closed our tab. Sorry about that.
Kyle's going to clean up that section.
Yeah, we got
What?
that.
Kyle's going to clean that
We
section
got
up.
clean. We're good.
I don't have my contacts in. It's too early for contacts. They're still frying in this horrendous chemical solution that you have to put contacts in. And if you put them in your eye too early, you don't have eyes anymore. So,
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, Tatyana Guchi, very funny. Find her and check her out. Congratulations, Tatyana.
For getting the comic of the week bump on the JAL podcast. Jackie and Laurie, congratulations.
Jackie, you not getting prorated reminded me of when I did Off Cabot in last July, like right before the July 4th weekend, and everyone was like, nobody's here. Like they knew, like everyone there knew nobody would be in town. But
Right.
somehow I got that week, and they canceled one of the Saturday shows, and they prorated me. And they did it a week and a half in advance,
Okay.
which really sucks.
That
Like,
that does suck.
I already bought my
You don't
plane
get to.
ticket.
Yeah.
And we don't, half these tickets get sold like within 3 or 4 days of the show, not a
Yeah.
week and a half in front of the show.
Right. People
when you're
are
me.
buying closer and closer too.
Yes, day of, all that kind of shit. So yeah, that infuriated me. Maybe I didn't get specific about that right afterwards, because I was like, oh, I might want to work for these people again, but I'm like, oh no, I don't. Enraged.
Right. It's like me and Zanies in Chicago. Nope.
Yeah, I would
take it on the arches,
Zanies,
guys.
But they
You would work at Zanies.
Yeah, again, another. Are these bookers all in a chat called "I Hate Laurie Kilmartin"? That's what I have to ask.
Ooh, wow.
I
There's
think they are.
some. Do you want merch that just says in a typewriter font, "I hate Laurie Kilmartin," and then underneath it, Kilmartin.com?
No, too many people would buy it, and they pay full price for it. They wouldn't even ask for a discount. Also, in Fort Collins last week, I found an incredible pool. It was an indoor 50-meter pool, and it was only $7, which is nothing. The same pool
That's
in
cheap.
Manhattan would be $50 for a day swim. I had the lane to myself. The gutters were so efficient at grabbing waves that I had people diving in the next lane to me, and it didn't affect the way it was still like glass. My lane was still like glass. I was astonished. It's called Epic. In case any, I know there's more and more swimmer comics. You know, Sharon Houston, Matthew Broussard, Karen Morgan. Okay, so they're out there, and our legion is growing, and we hope to recruit more of you. And so check out the Epic pool when you're in Fort Collins, swimmers.
I forget if Alice Fraser, who's an Australian, I believe she's an Australian comic. She did this week's, you'd think I'd know because she's in this week's episode of The Dork
She's
Forest.
Australian, yeah.
And she's a comic?
Mm-hmm.
Alice Fraser?
Yes.
Thank you. Why do you know and I don't?
Because I don't know, I follow her. We're Twitter friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, her episode of The Dork Forest was amazing. She's written a book called A Passion for Passion.
Ooh.
And it's about, I think it's about romance novels, except for she wanted to talk about essentially disrespected literature. And so we talked about romance novels and everything but like weird, cozy, like we didn't get to cozy mysteries, which I've never been a huge fan of. I don't mind. They're close to being cozy, but they're not entirely cozy. But it was a great episode. But she could be a comic of the week, ongoing.
I thought she
we
had
might want to look into that.
But
she might have been.
Double check. I'm pretty sure she had been.
Yeah.
Let's see. When I was,
let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When I was in Wilmington last week, this whole the amount of travel and like 9 days was a lot for me. Like I was very
Right.
excited to just be home and decamp with my son. And I'm really glad he wasn't alone here during wildfires because he can't drive yet. So
Right.
that's taken way longer. I don't know if any of their parents are going through this. I think they are. I mean, the ones I talk to are, but the
Mm-hmm.
getting these kids to even want to drive, it's hard.
Right.
Hold on, I got another ding. All right.
I have to say that my travel day last Sunday was ridiculous. I
Mhm.
flew from DC and there was weather. So I was okay with getting I mean, sometimes there's just no flight that doesn't leave at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m.
Ugh,
So you end up getting 3 hours of sleep.
right.
And so I got to the airport. We flew
Did you fly
Reagan
Friday
to
morning?
no.
Okay.
I was there I think Wednesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, I flew Wednesday and Sunday.
Okay.
So Wednesday night I got there. Sunday morning I leave. The plane from DC to Atlanta's fine. Atlanta gets delayed. We get on the plane knowing that there's some sort of mechanical issue
Oh.
and we're going to have to be rerouted and switch planes. It was a direct flight originally from Atlanta to Burbank. And it turns out we had to fly through Salt Lake City. So what was going to be not a great day of about 11 or 12 hours of travel turned out being almost 20 hours of travel.
Oh my God.
I know. And I got home and I was a puddle.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
I have to just lie down. And so I lie down. I'm of no use. I'm leaving today. Monday, I mailed it, I did all the admin stuff that
Mhm.
is everything.
Right.
And so I was like, there won't be a Dork Forest. There wasn't a Dork Forest the last week because I had already put out the votes. So
Mhm.
essentially there's 51 episodes a year. Because occasionally I take a week off. And that week I took off because I didn't have an episode and I had already started the voting for the favorite episode of the year. So plus every year I'm always scared that Patrick Brady isn't going to want to do the Dork Forest again. He's my producer
Mhm.
and he does the audio and video. And so every year I like on like this so on Monday, was it Monday? No, it was whatever. I was like, Patrick, are you in? I'll pay you because I pay him for the whole year in January because he started doing this when he had just graduated from college. And so he needed a sort of a chunk of change because he was a college student. But now the guy's got to be 32, 35 years old and
Mhm.
he's a programmer and an editor. He has plenty of money. But I'm like, I'll pay you all
He likes
in
being
January.
part of the Jackie Cation experience, as do
Very
we
possible.
all.
As do we all. So beautiful.
I'm just getting more fire updates. Sorry, I was like,
Yeah, so am I.
so
I'm
are
just
you? Did you download that app, that Watch
I
Duty
did the
app?
the Brandy Posey recommended that app.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to turn off the push notifications because I care, but I don't want it
Yeah.
pushed to me.
Now I'm like, what do you mean saddle? There's some new fire name I hadn't even heard yet. I was like, what the fuck? What?
Right. So,
Um.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
so I guess the one by my house is still happening, but it's better.
There
So
is a huge it's weird when you walk into my backyard, the left, if you look left, it looks like Griffith Park is on fire. As far as I know, there's no fires there, but it's covered in smoke, which either is coming from Eaton this way. It's got to be coming from Eaton.
it's
this
coming
way.
from Eden. Yeah.
And then the right side, if you look right, it's blue skies. It's really
Yeah. If you
this whole yellowy atmosphere is from the smoke. It's really surreal.
Right. Okay, so I just got an announcement that says the Woodley fire has been declared knocked down and been revised to 30 acres per incident command.
Where's the Woodley, by the way? Is
that's the one that's Sepulveda Basin.
Oh,
It's
good. Thank God.
That's the one that's like 2 miles from my house.
That's the one thing.
It's
Both you and I live in a concrete encased suburbs, and
right.
there's a little less fauna to catch on fire. Like those embers really
Right.
have to work to get to us.
Well, you
I was
remember that
looking
old
at
joke
my
I used? Yeah.
what?
I used to do a bit that said, because every time I get a call from people going, "Are you okay?" And I would always say, to live near a hill or a tree in Los Angeles, you have to have a lot more money than I do.
Seriously.
So
Yeah.
if there's ever a sweeping strip mall fire, then I'm
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah.
And so I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, my Zillow or whatever, the Redfin thing, the fire risk it says for our little area is very low, which is kind of rare in LA. But I mean, that doesn't mean it can't happen, especially when they're so big like this. At some point, we could all get engulfed. But it's I mean, it's all still happening right now, but like the effect on the industry after, like, the industry has already been damaged so badly by COVID and the strikes, and now I don't know, a lot of people won't be able to rebuild and they're just going to leave. It's so, I don't know, it's just so weird.
Yeah, but there's always, it's sad that people suffer and stuff like that, but there's so many things that are horrible going on in the earth, and
I know.
and I know.
When we live in
how's
one
your
of them,
house, Kyle?
we are allowed to focus on it,
We're
though. You
we're
know,
very similar where I'm in a concrete suburb, so like we'll be fully engulfed in flames around us before it moves into the hill.
Right, it's got to get over the hill, right?
My workplace might burn down though.
Oh, there you go, because it's right there.
Yeah, it's just on the other side of the hill for that one. A bunch of my my people had to leave yesterday.
Oh, yeah, my Andy's cousin is on her way over. She's going to stay with us, so she lives in I think sort of Eagle Rock, Glendale.
My Pasadena friends have all been aggressively moved out.
Oh yeah, I know.
Want to take a second break?
Yep, I do. And we did. We took a second break, you guys.
okay.
Max Fun, Patreon. We got to figure out what to do for a bonus episode for the Max Fun people. That'd be great. Did you hear that Facebook Meta, which is Instagram and Threads as well, obviously, that they're not going to do fact checking anymore? I don't know if you know this. They've never done any. It's always been pretty shitty, and I haven't been allowed to advertise because my dad was giving medical bill advice. So,
well, your dad's about
maybe
to
I'll be able
enter an era of making a lot of money on Facebook if he wants, I guess, right?
I guess now I could post that. Maybe I can boost that reel because it doesn't matter anymore. And it's got 1 million views.
Oh my God. It's just I'm sick that I have to participate in Mark Zuckerberg's world.
Or any of them?
Yes, especially Zuckerberg. You know, I quit Facebook after Hillary lost, after he helped Trump win. And then I joined back because, you know, that's what we have to do now to fill rooms.
Yep.
And I fucking hate it. I'm not on Threads. I won't let him take all 3 parts of my social media. Like I'll migrate to Blue Sky and keep Twitter around just in case, because Twitter's pretty fun when like the comedy's happening, you know, we're all making fun of something. There's a lot of good comics still on it. And Blue Sky's a little earnest. There's not as many mean stand-ups on Blue Sky yet. I'm encouraging you all to come over because I can't take the goodwill. But yeah, I'm sick that I have to participate in Meta at all. It's just so bad. It's so bad for the country, and part of me is like, let's just stop all of this and, you know, move someplace into a little tiny place in a cheap area, and then just ride it out until the earth comes for me. No more posting.
I believe that's called retirement. Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know what I can't. All of these douchebags are just such like it's and the big reveal that they all know each other and they're all monsters. I'm like, yeah, shocking no one. These dingbats all know each other, and I will say, because I have jury duty next week, and my brother reminded me of a great line from Sneakers,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of hopeful. I remember the movie Sneakers with Robert Redford.
I don't think I saw it.
Well, it's one of the good movies. It's one of the
So
it's
not
like sort of like
Slackers. I think.
it's sort of like Shawshank Redemption in the
Okay.
way that it's like one of those.
Cosign, it's pretty good.
It's like it's one of those movies that should be on cable 24/7. And there's a line in it where Robert Redford says to some old friend of his, "I can't believe you work for organized crime," and whoever responds goes, "Yeah, don't kid yourself. It's not that organized." And that's what, I saw. I was reminded of that, and I saw Funches reposted an old bit of his about conspiracy theories, and he said, "I don't trust you if you don't believe in any conspiracy theories. It's fine if you don't believe in most of them, but if you don't believe in any, that means that you believe that you're like, no, the government is 100%."
Oh,
100%
that's true.
honest with
That's
us.
funny.
And it's so funny. And then he's got other punchlines, but it's such a great, and it's better than that. But I was reminded that, yeah, these people, while they have $1 billion, they're not necessarily that bright.
They're not.
And
They stumbled into it. Elon Musk is not smart. He
No,
started,
he was born
on
into
third
it.
base, and then he
Mhm.
he just kept acquiring companies. He didn't invent Tesla. He didn't invent SpaceX. He didn't invent
Mhm.
anything. All he does is come up with other rich people that also hate women, like Peter Thiel, and they get together and they buy things. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that
Zuckerberg
thing?
copied MySpace. He didn't invent Facebook. He copied he tweaked it so he
Yeah.
could find girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always, and weirdly enough, I just saw some posts that the Taliban in Afghanistan have outlawed Windows just in
Yes.
case people are seeing women.
Right. These women just the mere joy looking out a window gives you when you're in the house, that they're even denied that. It's so
Yeah.
disgusting. I'm like, what can I do? I can't do anything about this. That it's
Nope.
horrific. They're not allowed to see male doctors, but there's not allowed to have women doctors. They're not allowed to exist, female doctors. So how are
Yeah.
they going to see if they get any sort of illness? How are they going to be cured? How are they going to be treated? They're not. They're just going to die of cancers that could have been prevented or treated had they lived anywhere fucking else, had we not pulled out of Afghanistan the way we did and handed it back to the Taliban. Oh, it's so sickening. Ugh, I'm in a terrible place.
It's a bad place. It's and people are always like, they're making JD Vance jokes, and I'm like, that guy is the Heritage Foundation, that's what he was. And the Heritage Foundation is American Taliban. It's a Christian right control or kill women group. Yep. And so don't kid yourself.
That's Peter Thiel. On Peter Thiel's agenda is to take the vote away from women.
Yes. Yes. So noted. If everyone could
there's like this very small subset of gay men who actually hate women instead of loving them more than straight men. And they're not as common, but they are lethal, these fucking guys. And Thiel's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know he was gay.
Oh, yeah. That's why he got Gawker shut down. Do you remember Gawker, the website?
Yeah, vaguely.
It was trolly, but it was a lot of fun too. And they did great work. And they outed Peter Thiel, probably, maybe not. Their owner was also gay. Nick, I forget his last name. I forget. Denton, Nick Denton, right?
Nice.
Who knows what's going on between these guys, right? But they outed Peter Thiel, and then Peter Thiel basically made it impossible for them financially to survive. Should they have done that? No, probably that was not a smart thing, but
right, and not as kind as you might, as you were. Yeah, you're not. These are not kind people. They're not kind people with a great deal of power.
Yeah,
and so it turns out the kind people are just like, no, I'm busy living my life.
I know. I can't keep up with all the rights you're trying to take away from me. I'm just trying to
live.
Make sure my son learns to drive, okay, and get work. Like now, I got to make sure I can still vote. I thought that was baked in.
Right. Yeah, a lot of things we thought were baked in: abortion rights, right to vote, right to go to school, right to learn to read. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
we might have to reinvent the wheel here after they burn some of this down, you guys.
Yeah.
But it's the whole thing is so inexorable. All I know is that I can, and I was talking to people about, because a lot of people are like, they really like the Hero album
Hmm.
because it had some hope and we survived, right? So people are listening to my Hero album, which is the album before Staycation, which is the first time I did anything overtly political. And is that because it was recorded 6 weeks after Trump came to power. And so I'm trying to figure out, there's some obligation I feel to pep talks but my major obligation is to make people laugh, right?
I
I
know.
have got to write jokes.
Yeah,
And
that's the
granted,
thing. Like,
yeah.
we got this one talent that we have honed for a really long time. That's why I don't get super political on stage unless I have a decent joke about it. Like gets a good laugh. I don't want this. I want a good fucking laugh.
Right. Yeah, my veterinarian joke is getting an applause break, but it's getting an okay, it's getting the ha kind of laugh. It's getting
Right.
that with a recognition, which is why I put the two silly punchlines after it. So, just because. And Bamford just called me. I don't know what's happening there.
Shit.
We're just about there if we want to.
We're just about there. Ladies and gentlemen, fans of the Jackie and Laurie show, if you want to keep tuning in, please do. But I am going to be in Denver. I've advertised on Pandora. I'm going to see if I can advertise on Facebook.
I forgot about Pandora.
Don't forget about Pandora. I always forget about Pandora until somebody comes up to me at a show and says, I always listen to you on Pandora.
Really?
And then I'm like, oh, right, Pandora.
Huh.
So and I don't know how to make Spotify work for me, but
right.
Whatever's happening, everybody should come to my show in Denver if you can. I'm bringing a boost, which is the oxygen stuff. So I'm going to be pre-prepared for my horrible oxygen consumption. And I'll have plenty of Made of Bees merch. So that's where I'm at with that. How about you, Laura?
When I'm in Hasbrook Heights at Bananas, Ron Vai's going to open for me. He was he's from Jersey originally, so he had asked, and I was like, as far as I know, they don't have anyone, and they didn't. So you're going to have a Bay Area show in New Jersey. So come on out to that. It'll
San
be pretty
Francisco
fun.
comic, Ron Vai.
Yeah.
A delight, a decent human being, and hilarious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all the things, you guys.
Yeah.
So go to that.
Family out there or something.
Good news.
Yeah.
I say we leave.
Okay.
Yeah. Good call.